your Vancouver Island Raiders. Blustering in from Philly. Swaggering white. The autumn wind is a rain. Just for fun. He'll knock you around and upside down and laugh when he's conquered. For the coin toss of the first inaugural Burn Fund Classic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lorenzo Jensen. Welcome to Nanaimo District Secondary School, where the VI Raiders are just about ready to take on the visiting Kamloops Broncos. Both teams in very similar positions, both teams with relatively similar goals and outlooks for the rest of the season, both 1-6. So this is all about cohesion. This is all about taking the steps, and especially, as Andrew Harris mentioned, it's all about the culture and fostering that culture here in both the locker room, on and off the field. 31 rookie players for the VI Raiders. There's a lot of new personalities to work with and to blend and to meld. And these players, that's going to be a process. The same with the Broncos. And as they do the coin toss today, you got to think it's going to be a very close game. I'm thinking it's somewhere in the neighborhood of a 20-18 kind of matchup. We'll see what we get on the field, but I'm very much interested to see what kind of teams that we're going to see on the field today. Are we going to see teams that are looking ahead to next season, or are they trying to get to that point where they're really focusing on, they want some success today, the here and the now, and it's going to come down to who's hungrier today between these two clubs. And really, it's more about bragging rights than anything for today. These teams going into this contest, 1-6, very similar outlooks. I was watching some clips on Andrew Harris recently that I found very amazing on YouTube, as they were talking about some of the records that he set and his progression up with the VI Raiders, and the way that he worked his way up to the system, was brought in and fostered by the coach here, basically living with him, and just so many great things. And Andrew Harris is a very welcome personality for the VI Raiders to come in, take control. And you can see he's already giving back. The team, I love it out there, getting their sway together over on the side of the field as the Raiders getting pumped and set. And I think that's the kind of culture that's needed here with the VI Raiders. And there's the pop-up. They are ready to go. This game is going to go off quite nicely, I should think. Both teams with a little bit of something to prove here in the late goings of this BC Football Conference season. Might not have been exactly what both clubs set out to accomplish, but it is certainly still something worth building on and salvaging. And these teams, no better contest and way to do it today. I think it's going to be a tight one. It's going to be, I think, of just a few point difference between these two clubs. But the Broncos, of course, the visiting Broncos in the prolific orange and white. And they'll be taking essentially the north side of the field for this contest. And the VI Raiders, with their opening drive team set to come out, the special team set to get this one rolling here in Nanaimo. An afternoon game, and it's a little bit cloudy here in Nanaimo, just a bit. But a beautiful sunrise this morning. If you like orange and darker oranges, it was a gorgeous morning here in Nanaimo. And, of course, this afternoon is, in my opinion, some of the best football weather that a player can have. It's not too hot. Starting to get to the fall season where the temperatures cool down at night. And that certainly comes into play with the football as it gets a little bit, the old pigskin gets a little slipperier in the late fall goings, and of course on into playoff football, which it doesn't appear either of these clubs will be able to participate in this year, but they're sure building steps and working towards improving, and they have already done that, the VI Raiders. And there's the punt to open things up down the near side, pushed out of bounds just around the 32, and that's Colton Peterson, who has the game's first touch for the Kamloops Broncos. Nice little force out there by the Raiders as they want to keep the Broncos hemmed in a little bit here in the early goings if they can. And it would be even more magical if they could possibly turn the football over early, as they did a few weeks ago. Here's the throw off to the left. That's caught. Nice evasive move at the beginning, and a couple extra yards. Looks like made the first down, and a little bit. So Caleb Sens right back at it for the Broncos, catching the football, and that first move right about the 38-yard line, 39-yard line. That's what really helped them tack on those extra yards. Nice little... Wow, an unnecessary roughness penalty. So the Broncos penalized early after a nice catch by Caleb Sens. And I'm not too sure that either Braden Van Koenet or Avery Dunster are going to be necessarily happy with that outcome. But they do have first down here. But certainly deeper than they'd like. Two fanning out on both sides. Into the pocket, thrown on the near side, and was nearly intercepted. It was through the hands of Felice Toscano. And boy, that was close. Close to an interception. The intended target was Colton Meikle. And that one touched both of their hands on the way through. But the closest to catching it was definitely Toscano. You saw at the last second Felice Toscano getting his body in front of Meikle. So second and 10, or pardon me, more than 10. Oh, he elects to run out of the pocket down the left side, caught and brought out near the 39-yard line. So they were still able to make some significant field position there, but they are going to, I believe, bring out the punting unit here and send it away. But at least they were able to string together a couple of plays, get that ball downfield. And of course, Ryan Peterson, the quarterback, looking solid there in the first couple of throws. Gets it out towards the flat, and that one picked up by Colton Peterson. Of course, no relation there. One is an S-E-N, the quarterback, and the receiver an S-O-N. The ball punted high and end over end. Picked up in the backfield by Harmon Ahuja. Lightning down the far side. Oh, he ducked under one hit, and he's still going. But did he cough up? No. That was just a great run. I thought for a moment maybe he had dropped the football right near the 50 there, but good news for the Raiders. They were just making sure that they had the ball protected on the ground there. .49-yard line is where they'll go to work here. Handoff. Owen Giancola down the near side, and he gets about a 7 or 8 there, and there is a flag on the field. It came from the backside official. And we'll have to see who this one goes against, but I think it might be going against the Raiders if I can read body language from Giancola. So it is holding against the Raiders, and it was Parker Moscrip. And on the tackle, Aiden Quang, the linebacker, helping make that sack. And so the 10-yard penalty assessed, so a little bit of work here for the Raiders to do. Sadler Smith in there, looking over to his right. Oh, and he threw it to Giancola, who was immediately met and tackled. And it was Maxim Bosk coming in from right around center field, and he always had eyes for Owen Giancola. He knew that ball was going over the screen, and that's where it lands into the arms of Giancola. And the ball now situated right on the 50-yard line. But the Raiders still lots of work to do on this second down. Sadler Smith looking over the middle, just gets it away. Oh, and that was intercepted. Are they considering it a dead ball? No, he wasn't touched. Downfield he goes. Aiden Quang, and he gets dropped, but right near the goal line. And everyone looked to see if he was down, and now are they signaling off the sideline that he made it in? No, it's going to be right near the goal line. I didn't think he quite made it, but an unbelievable interception by Quang. And everyone in disbelief on the field as he just got up untouched and kept rambling downfield with the football. At the 3-yard line, and an amazing turn of events here for the Broncos, shaking off that early unnecessary roughness 15-yard penalty and then forcing a holding penalty and now an interception off Sadler Smith's throw down the right side. Oh, there's a bobble, and the quarterback's going to go down hard as he needed an extra moment. And he's wrapped up by Caleb Charlton, who just said, here we go. I've seen what happens when they need a second to readjust and settle that football down and not drop it. And he was in there like a shot. You can see just that extra moment where he had to reach down and grab that football, and that definitely cost him having Charlton right smack there. Second down into the end zone, up it goes, and it's a touchdown. Oh, and the Raiders almost knocked it down, but instead it's a touchdown for the Broncos, and they get first blood here in Nanaimo. Brock Dufort with the catch in the end zone. So, of course, the penalty for pass interference declined, and it looked like the Raiders might almost have an interception there, or at least knock the ball away. And you could see by the reaction on the field from Kaya Saunders that I think he was trying to decide which one he wanted to do, if it was knock the ball away or if he wanted to try and impede the receiver. But either way, it's a touchdown for the Broncos, and they're looking to make it 7-0 here as Caleb Sens gets set to put that down. And you could see it was just a moment or two, but a very well thrown ball. And yes, it was just the initial, there was just maybe the slightest of touches from Kaya Saunders on the football, but he just couldn't get in the way enough of that football for Brock Dufort. And he hauls that one in for the lead, but no point after adjudicated for the Broncos, so at least the Raiders have that much going for them that they could potentially grab the lead here with a converted touchdown. And that one punted away nicely by Colton Peterson. Out of the backside, there's just nowhere to go. Looking for room was Savian Townsend, but this time he just couldn't get away from all of the oncoming sea of orange and white. And Owen Stockbrugger was the back that was in there to get that tackle. And you could see he just had his left leg tied right up. There was no going anywhere. And also a nice shot there of Parker McKillop for the Broncos. Relatively pleased, I'm sure, with the early 6-0 lead. Now the Raiders in motion. That pass looks like it was complete just in front of, maybe around the 22-yard line. And it was a very quick up and down kind of play. The receiver having to come back to it to meet it near the turf. Sadler Smith, just enough pepper on that one to get it into the arms and complete. Second and 8. 2 in motion on the near side. Smith trying to roll out, and he got sacked in the backfield. There's just too much heat, too much pressure. Aiden Quang having himself a whale of a first quarter, let alone first half. Not sure what else is in store, but some great efforts out on the field. Michael Fields, the defensive lineman, big on that play as well. Such a big young man, and he got in there super quick. His speed really belies his size. And before Sadler Smith knew it, he had a whole bunch of number 2. Oh, and that snap was really high. Good job by the kicker to get that one away, even though he had to jump up and climb the ladder to bring it down. Riker Sansbury, and right around the 37 or so, a whole bunch of people coalesce, and coming up with the football, Caleb Sens on the return. So great field position here. Almost exactly on the 30-yard line is where they'll go to work. 1st and 10 for the Broncos, and they've already got the lead. Big offensive line. Some really big men out there. Dakota Lauren in motion. Pass is complete to Sens. Looking for room. Bounces off of one. Can they bring him down? And finally, with a little bit of extra help from the backfield, they're able to bring him down, but more yards after the run and well into not just first down territory, but definitely in the red zone. Broncos looking to add. Ryan Peterson surveys. He's got 2 in motion on his left, 1 on his right, and he does send it to his right. It's intercepted by the Raiders. Riker Sansbury on the safety, and he gets in there. There is a flag on the field, but that just happened at the very end of the play, so we'll have to see what comes of it. But a big play by Riker Sansbury, and he gets what the Raiders needed, and that was a goal line interception. And this will be a very important call here. The Broncos already swapping out special teams here, so the Raiders already content with the crew that they're going to work with here as the referee retrieves his flag. So Savian Townsend tagged with holding, and so it's half the distance to the goal. But the Raiders just happy to have the football. And Riker Sansbury is the one that's responsible now. Sadler Smith back out there with another opportunity. Motion by Giancola. And at the line, they're just going to try and move it forward, but I think that they're just going to hit the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Big traffic jam there as the both teams trying to shove each other back and forth, and you can see you definitely wouldn't want to be Owen Giancola there for a moment if they wind up going down to the turf. As I mentioned, not just a big offensive line, but a big D line for the Broncos. Sadler Smith quickly over to his right and brought out of bounds and thrown down just slightly. And I believe that was Aiden Thompson with the catch there. So Sadler Smith trying to work them out of this deep position. There's the handoff in motion. Harmon Ahuja perfectly grabbed, and he's actually grabbing a few yards. Look at him dance to the inside, and he's finally dropped down as he's caught up to there by Isaac Matide. Harmon Ahuja picking up some good yardage there, and the chains are getting moved. And the first down now for the Raiders. And they need to get to about the 39 to keep advancing this football. More motion at the line. Caught on the near side. Good thundering moves there and picking up extra yards, getting it down to almost the 50-yard line, and great pickup by the Raiders. Great work again. Parker Moscript quietly having himself a wonderful first quarter. 6 minutes left to go in this opening quarter. And thankfully for the Raiders, it's not more than 6-0 at this point. Riker Sansbury with an interception. There's the fake handoff to Giancola. Now it's burying it downfield. It's a jump ball, and it was caught. Blaze McCarty jumping up and grabbing that one. But I think that they're saying that the catch was made out of bounds, so the noisy crowd winds up having to calm a little bit as Sadler Smith had a player rolling right at his feet as he delivered that football. Boy, that was very close. But they deem that both feet didn't touch inbounds, so second down for the Raiders. 2 in motion on his right. That's where he's looking, but over the middle in the screen, there's the catch. And knocked down near the 51 of the Broncos. And there it is. It is a first down for the Raiders. An important drive for Sadler Smith as he's starting to connect. And look at how he reached up over the top there to get that through the screen and right into the hands of Paul Romanoff, who just always is quiet for little stretches, and then he'll make just some monstrous plays, and that's a very important one as the Raiders advance over the midfield area. Handoff to Giancola, and he's got some speed, and he got a good block at the line too, and even more as he stumbles forward. They haven't brought him down yet, and now his knees go to the ground, and that's right about the 37, and Owen Giancola putting the turbos to work there, just plowing through. And it should be noted, what a great block. Help him get there. That was Parker Moscrip again with his big frame as he pushed and forced a good few extra yards for the Raiders. It was a great play, and just, you could see how that cut to the inside. We're back live. Fake handoff. Sadler Smith was all sorts of time over the screen, and he finds McCarty. McCarty head down, and he crashes right around the 19-yard line of the Broncos. Big play by Blaze McCarty, and he says this one's inbounds.
It's another first down.
And they really sold it with that fake handoff to Giancola, who just helped bulldoze some free room for Blaze McCarty, who gets it into the red zone here now. And the Raiders would love to keep this drive moving forward. And they've got a fresh set of downs. Sadler Smith fakes. No, he does hand off to Giancola. Running down towards the far sidelines, and he got to, looks like about the 7 or 8. That's going to be close again, and they're really moving the chains on this drive. And the Raiders, this might be one of their better home drives of the season so far. They're really connecting, and the plays are all looking quite tight. Sadler Smith, boy, did he ever sell it with the way he turned back and pretended he was still holding the football ready to throw. And if you give Owen Giancola that kind of space, he's just going to make you pay on the field. Here's another one, and he's got the football towards the inside. Did he drop the football? Looked like it got knocked out, and it looks like it's a Broncos football. Oh my goodness, I think Giancola got hit at the last second. Someone threw their shoulder into the football, and it knocked it loose, and so close, yet so far for the Raiders. Oh my goodness, right at the end of the run, you see him cut to the inside. As he got his knee taken out, and that was a beautiful hit by Aiden Kwang, and his stamp has been all over this football game early, and what a huge play again by Aiden Kwang. All sorts of bodies coalescing around the 5-yard line as they try and move that football forward, but into a sea of black they go, and a good first early touch by Gavin Taylor, stopping them short on that run as they try and work it out of that deep territory. But what a big play by Aiden Quang to dislodge that football. One of his mates had Giancola's right leg held and tied up as he was falling to the ground, and that body came in hard and dislodged the football. Not quite up to the first down here, so the Broncos keep the ball on the ground. But they are keeping it moving, but it looks like they will punt away here. And the Raiders responding with what looks like their special teams. Good assist on that play again by Caleb Charlton. And it goes back. They throw it up over the middle, but it's incomplete. And that ball, is it live or dead? Looked like everyone was hesitant to touch it because of... Wow, so the Raiders have turned the football over in very fortuitous position. So it's almost like a great reset after the fumble by Owen Giancola. And they're going to get another attempt at this here as the Broncos go for a special play. And it was a left arm throw. And I was trying to figure out why Ty Holmes didn't want to touch that football initially, as maybe he didn't believe it was coming to him, or he thought someone was coming up to catch that football from the backside. But either way, the Raiders will take it. And the sun's starting to come through nicely on the field. As I mentioned, there is some cloud in the sky, but it's still a great day for football and a lovely little breeze in the air. In motion, Giancola the fake over the middle, and it did drop down. I think it hit the turf. It is not an interception. I don't believe it hit the turf. I believe that ball hit the turf. I don't think that this is going to be... Yeah, they're waving it off, and that's the right call, as that football definitely touched the turf. There was no interception, but there almost was. The ball was a bit wobbly, and as Parker Mosgrip reached up to grab it, it was not an easy one. He almost had to put his arms right straight up over his head, and that's an awkward catch to make. 35 seconds in the opening quarter. Second down. Far into the end zone. Is it considered a touchdown? No, they're waving it off, but he did catch the football, but he just couldn't drag his toes inside the line. They had to think about that one for a moment. That was close, and the Raiders so close with Ruben Bonsu to tying this game up, but I think they're going to opt to at least try and put 3 up on the board and cut into this lead. Yeah, he had to dive forward to catch that football. He just couldn't keep his feet down. And Ruben Bonsu with a very good catch, but it just takes place out of bounds. Marcus Harvey with it set, kicks it, and it just looks like it makes it up, and that's 3 points up on the board for the Raiders, and they've cut this lead in half. It's a 6-3 football game.
Right at the end of the first quarter.
So that is indeed the last play of the first quarter, and it results in the Raiders putting 3 points up on the board, and they're much needed. It wasn't the most convincing field goal, but Marcus Harvey and crew will take it. And as mentioned, the Broncos weren't able to get their point after, so that actually becomes an important asterisk in this game so far, especially where the score stands now, with the Raiders making it a 1 field goal game at this point. And once again, thank you for joining myself. I'm Lorenzo Jensen, and here with the Roll Focus crew, and getting you some beautiful shots down on the field here at Nanaimo District Secondary. right now you're enjoying some of the fruits of Yaro's labors. 2 in motion on the right. Faking the handoff. All sorts of confusion on the field, and a big play for the Raiders. Savian Townsend getting all sorts of love on the sidelines as he makes a big play here to start this second quarter. And the Raiders suddenly with some momentum. Look at that interception. He was just in the perfect spot. And, of course, the intended target that was Brock Dufort, who has the game's touchdown so far. But Dufort, that one, it was maybe... And so the holding penalty against Sens is declined. And the Raiders with a very important turnover. They've had a couple so far. Kaya Saunders with that big intercept. That would have made it a 13-0 game. Look at the wheels here now in motion and all the way down to what looks like the first down. Nice run by the Raiders. Ron Lyle picking that one up, and we haven't really seen much of him so far, but when he's called into action, he's sure delivering. And a nice run there as he forces his way downfield. And the Raiders with a fresh set of downs, and they're in important territory now. Nice little cut inside, and he just escaped Aiden Kwang's outreached arm, and we already know what sort of a factor he's been in this one so far. Aiden Kwang, so far arguably the most prolific player here so far in the football game. But the Raiders with a chance to do some damage here, and they'll get hydrated here. It's such an interesting football game, and it's always hard to predict what kind of outcome you'll see in a game with teams like this, where they're trying to cement routes and plays. But so far, I have to say, the Raiders have really had some great motion at the line, and they're really selling the play action. And you'll see that these timing routes with someone maybe cutting in front of the snap. In motion they go. They're going to give it to Ron Lyle again, and out to the outside flats he goes. He made a nice little cut, and then he dives forward to about the 12 or 13. And Ron Lyle suddenly becoming a factor in this one as he breaks to the outside and picks up some more yardage, and those chains getting moved again. And I don't want to leave out too many of the important people here with Roll Focus. Down on the field, we've got Hamish McLaren, and a shout out to Morgan as well, helping things run smoothly. As I mentioned, there's that action. They're going to use Ron Lyle. He's hot, and he dives forward. He got very close, but I don't think he's quite in. Ron Lyle, just a trifecta of runs here, and suddenly the ball is right on the doorstep of the Kamloops Broncos. Will the Raiders get turned away again, or can they punch this one in? Stay tuned. Harmon Ahuja lining up outside to the left. Once again, Ron Lyle. There's the snap. Has the ball, tried to move it over the middle. Did he get through? And I don't think he punched it through, but it's very, very close. It's got to be at about the 2-yard line at the most. So it's a very interesting set of plays here that they've been using. Lyle takes the football, pushes off of one, dives forward. Did he break the plane? Yes, he did. Lyle's in like Flynn, and the Raiders have their first lead of the football game. Such an interesting set of downs employed by Andrew Harris and company. And Sean Arabsky really working on the timing of these plays, all of this action, this play action on the field. And it's making it difficult for the Broncos to figure out exactly what portion of the field to attack. So some good strategy employed here by the Raiders. And they're really... There we go. They're good for the extra point. So a 4-point lead for the VI Raiders, and it's actually an important conversion there because the Broncos on their initial touchdown were unable, that one by Dufort, they were unable to convert. And so they came away with 6 on the board. But the last 10 points have belonged to the Raiders, and they'll punt this one to the Broncos as they enjoy a lead here, modest though it may be in this second quarter. Such a great day for football. I just can't stress enough how cool it is at this time of year on the island. There's so many other things you could be doing, but being on the field, seeing some cups of beer out there and people just having a good time cheering on their friends or relatives. Football sure brings people together. And that ball quickly end over end as it hits the turf, takes one bounce, and that's picked up. Gavin Berry into trouble, and there is a flag on the backside. Speaking of trouble, I'm not sure if the Raiders are going to get tagged with a little bit of something extra there. Yeah, it was unnecessary roughness, so Paul Romanoff tagged with that one, and that'll be 15 yards to give the Broncos some better field position to work with here. As Barry had run into the wall of a few Raiders players, it seemed like there was one extra point of contact, and that would be Romanoff coming in, so he was assessed the unnecessary, and there's a handoff. Had his arm out as he grabbed the football, and that arm was grabbed right away. And I believe that was Sheldon Aitken. Big Rowan Munson in there helping create some room. So it looks like second and about 5. The Broncos keep it along the ground and pound it forward here. There's the throw looking downfield on the near side. Felice Toscano, they were bumping around, but I don't think that there will be any penalties coming from this one as that ball was overthrown. And that's an important play with Felice Toscano making sure that they can't stretch this field out any further. Colton Meikle, who had a big play in the first quarter, trying to track this ball down. You saw him reaching up, but he couldn't sell the contact with Felice Toscano, who just made sure he couldn't get up underneath that football. And this one they do punt away. Corey Jeeves kicking that one. Harmon Ahuja picking it up in the backfield, and it'll squirt out of bounds around the 44, maybe 45-yard line. Harmon Ahuja gets a little tap on the back there from teammate Savion Townsend, who had that big interception to open up this quarter. And that's an important marker here so far in this football game as the Raiders enjoying a lead. Up 10-6 here with a little under 11 minutes to go here in this first half of football. And once again, there's that motion. And a hard tackle and a little bit extra. There is a flag on the field as that tackle was made. Cole Malo. I wonder. Oh, and it's a face mask against the Broncos. So that's going to tack on 15 here for the Raiders, and things start to look a little bit different now here in this second quarter. The Broncos initially were knocking on the door to make it a 13-0 game, and then a big interception by Riker Sansbury turned that all around, and the Raiders have been using the momentum ever since, and it sure doesn't hurt when you get an unnecessary roughness penalty against the defense to add on from the 48 of the Broncos. 2 in motion on the left, but they're going to fake the handoff to Giancola, but there goes Sadler Smith, and he got grabbed off of his right shoulder and brought down, but not before getting the ball on the first down. All the way to the 35, so a big pickup of nearly 15 for Sadler Smith on that fake handoff to Owen Giancola, and they really sold it. Again, Giancola completing the motion, and Sadler Smith, boy, once again a big grab there. Cole Malo downfield. There, it's caught. Off of 1 tackle and 2 inside the 20. Parker Moscript having one of his best games of this season. And big number 80 with another good play, and it's such a difficult thing to bring him down when he's got that football and he's running forward. He's just so tall, and his running, he basically challenges you to try and stand him up. Good catch right in the numbers, and as he turned, look at them roll off of him as he accepted one, and then was finally brought down by Tan Lloyd. The play action, Giancola, they've got his right leg, they just won't let go, and finally he goes down, but he doesn't concede the football, and he hangs on. Right near the 10, looks like it'll be about the 12-yard line. So the Raiders inching forward here, and some more big plays. Giancola, boy, hanging on for absolute dear life was Maxim Bosk. He had a hold of his right leg and just would not let go. Sadler Smith, 2 in motion beside him to Harmon Ahuja. He's going to take it way out to the flats, puts on the brakes, tries to cut inside, but he's going to get dropped right around the 10. So a pickup of about 2, and now some decisions to make for the Raiders. Third down. What do they have in line here? It certainly looks like they're going for it. Moving up towards the line of scrimmage. Now there's a flag on the play immediately, and it was motion of some sort. Now who is it going against? Is it the Broncos or the Raiders? The officials are talking about it. Oh, it is against the Broncos, and that's why Sadler Smith wanted the football so quickly. That's a smart play by Smith to just get that ball and get them caught offside, and they move that football even closer to the goal line. From about the 6. Parker Moscript moving up to help at the front line. There's the handoff. Giancola ran into a couple and he moved forward, but he stumbles in around. Oh, one of the Broncos is down on the field. It looks like he's in some discomfort. I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a break here as the trainers are ushered onto the field quickly. He's certainly in some discomfort on the field. And believe that's Michael Fields. And he was clutching somewhere near the lower side of his tummy or in that area. He's up, but that looked like a real stinger, and that's a real man to shake it off like that, maybe on the inside of his left thigh there. Never an easy thing for a football player to have contact in that region. Oh, look at the Broncos getting set. They know this is an important goal line stand here. Second down for the Raiders. Second and goal. Giancola lined up just behind Sadler Smith. And he's going to get the ball. Giancola, and he's through.
Another big touchdown for the Raiders.
Oh, and Giancola thunders his way through, and there was nobody stopping that train. He punches that one in from about the 6-yard line, and the Raiders adding to their lead. It's been a big second quarter for them, and it started with an interception to start the quarter. Giancola just put on the brakes, and you could see from the body language of Parker McKillop, the linebacker, that they knew as soon as he made that cut to his left. And that ball is good for the point after, and so the Raiders enjoying a 17-6 lead. The scoreline reminding me somewhat of the contest just over a month ago at the Langley Rams, where the Raiders went into the first half with a lead. They weren't able to continue on with that lead, but you got to think here, the way that this team is looking right now, they certainly want to keep pushing forward and earn some bragging rights here today. Sean Arabsky doing a fine job as head coach. Jake LeBurge, the offensive coordinator, and Sean Murray. There's a set play as they kick it up in the air. It's a loose ball. Who got it? The Raiders look like they were there on it, and it is a Raiders football. The onside kick yields another possession for the Raiders. And if you didn't know it, they're all pointing downfield, and that can only mean one thing. They got the football. Sean Arabsky likes the energy, and as they come off to the sidelines, the Raiders look like a team rejuvenated. And you got to admire their never say quit attitude this season. You could see one of the Raiders jumping up and getting a hand on it first, and that I can't be certain, but I think once again Parker Moscript was the one to cover that football. And a good look at a couple of the Raiders there. In particular, Jake Giakis, the offensive lineman, number 50. Quite often has the towel off of the back there, which is a nice little feature for us broadcasters to help differentiate sometimes. You don't always get to see the jersey or some notable something that marks the player outside of their jersey number. And as mentioned, Hamish McLaren getting you set there for this kickoff. And as I've mentioned many times before, the wonders of technology. Another onside kick. It's a jump ball, and that was grabbed, I believe. Oh, did he drop the football? No, he didn't, as he's being grabbed, and I believe Moscript once again is the person on the spot to grab that football off of the bounce.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
And you can hear the announcer say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's, yeah. So the first onside kick, no good. Redo. Raiders get the same result, and they have the football. At least it sure looks like it from up here, but they are discussing things. A lot to talk about on the field on that last play. And, you know, these set pieces with the onside kicks and such, they really do create a lot of discombobulation on the field as the players themselves. It's hard to process right away what's happening, where the football is.
First down.
So I don't think that onside kick made it the 10 necessary yards. So because of that, from the point of contact is where the Broncos are going to take over the football here. There's the snap. Oh, and there's trouble from the backside, but I think the Broncos, did they get back on top of it? Or it might be a Raiders football. The Raiders are sure reacting like they recovered. Tanny Wisdom, the defensive lineman, comes up big as that ball was forced right out of the arms of Clark Snyder, who got drilled from the backside, and that football came loose. And that's the power of a strong defensive line getting that pressure and that blitz doing everything that the Raiders needed it to do. Oh, and you got to feel for the Broncos. They sacrificed some bodies in there to try and get that football. They were all twisted up. Giancola runs with the football. Got a few extra yards after the first point of contact. Looks like a pickup of about 4, maybe 5 on the play.
Gain of about 5.
Jake Giacchis getting set to snap this football. They're going to call a timeout here. Sadler Smith indicating the timeout for the Raiders. And they're going to Smith looking to the near sidelines for something, and I'm not sure exactly who he's trying to communicate with, but I did want to give a shout out to the Nanaimo professional firefighters that are on hand today, cooking up hot dogs and just helping keep everyone happy and fed, and a reminder that they're safe. And of course, fire's a big deal, particularly when you live on an island. And I know it's a big island, but just ask residents of the Campbell River area. Fires can be devastating and cause so much heartache, and so we're obviously very appreciative of our firefighters, professional, volunteer, and otherwise. And they're on hand today. Just look for the boys in dark blue, and they're helping cook up hot dogs and keeping everybody with a smile on their face as the Raiders with a 17-6 lead here in the second half. Or pardon me, before second half. In the second quarter, there's the throw. Sadler Smith, he felt the pressure from the backside. And once again, all over Cole Malo. He's had a great second quarter here. He and Quang have just been so competitive for the Broncos. Sadler Smith is lucky that he actually even got that football away. He had no idea that he was being trailed by Malo. And Cole Malo with a big defensive play. View of some of the Raider fans, Raider Nation. What a beautiful spot, too, to take in the football. There's the snap, and Riker Sansbury, love the way he got that one up and away quickly as it bounces out near the sidelines, and all they can do is take it out of bounds. Brock DeFort, he's got the touchdown for the Broncos. And Caleb Sens will be ready out on the field for this drive. The Broncos, a lot of territory to cover here as that ball was kicked downfield nicely by Riker Sansbury. It was actually probably the only kick today that wasn't completely end over end in midair. It was actually a very high stationary ball. It's always great to see the youngsters taking in the games, and they get to run around on the field. Back underway. Ball to around the 18 or so as the as the Broncos just run it along the ground. Trying to pick out the ball carrier there. And that was Corey Jeeves with the football. But a net pickup of about one. One in motion on the right, but the handoff is delivered. Oh, and a big effort to haul the ball carrier down. Good job by the Raiders to just stick to it on the ground, and Aiden Thompson in there helping out, getting a touch. Just some good contain by the Raiders as the ball carrier, Corey Jeeves, gets through, and a nice assist as well by Garrett McAuliffe. And the ball brought down right around the 31-yard line as the Broncos elect to keep moving the ball on the ground. So second and about 3, pickup of 7 on the play by Jeeves, and this Kamloops offense content to just keep moving the chains on the ground, but this time the Raiders are wise and they're going to shove them back behind the line of scrimmage. And it was interesting to see as Devin Dirksen got up, the offensive lineman. He kind of threw his arms up in the air as he was having a chat with Denzel Igahan. They were both trying to figure out exactly what happened on that play. They were tangled up, but the football didn't really move far from the line of scrimmage. And Corey Jeeves, this time they were wise. There we go. They're all tangled up on the field. And actually, pardon me, that was Tanny Wisdom, the defensive lineman for the Raiders. But he did have Igahan's. So holding goes against the Broncos, so they back the football up here, and that's an important penalty as that's erased some of the recent gains on the ground here by Jeeves and company. And Clark Snyder has one right set in behind him, and looks like 3 might be able to get in motion on the near side, and they do. But it goes over the screen, and it's caught. That was a good catch on the run, and they've picked out Corey Jeeves a number of times here, and he can catch the football, he can run it, and he's done both very efficiently here on this drive. And he's a big boy. He's a hard person to stop on that screen play. Perfectly thrown football, even though the coverage was there. But the Raiders just limiting contact, or limiting yards after contact. Big play, 3rd and about 1. The action on the forward pass, but I think he's got it. I think it's going to be a first down. It's very close. Yes, I believe he's got the first down. And the Kamloops Broncos with a scrambly play, but they make it work as Clark Snyder was able to scramble out to the near side and get that little dish over the top for Brock Dufort. Good tackle there by Caleb Charlton. Into the pocket, thrown to the outside, but he's all wrapped up immediately, and that's a good play by the Raiders defense. Tanny Wisdom in there once again, causing all sorts of problems for the offensive line. Into the pocket, over the middle, and once again caught. Who else? Corey Jeeves. And he hangs on tight to the football, but I think he might have hurt himself in midair as he caught that football at about the 49-yard line, and the trainers are going to come out and have a look at the young man. Jeeves immediately wincing as he came down with that football. And you can see the pressure that was coming from the outside from Nathan Halliuk, the defensive back, and immediately turning his face down towards the turf. You could tell Corey Jeeves felt that one. And he gets some help from Sarah Fast, the assistant trainer. A little hydration break here as the speedy youngsters get out there with the Gatorade bottles. Cool little feature. And look at that little interaction with the mascot and maybe some future Raiders there. You just never know who's on hand. You see the dogs, and they actually had I could hear all of the cheers from my house earlier this afternoon as they played over at the John Barsby football field, which is literally about a four-minute drive from here. Into the pocket, thrown to the right, and there's whistles immediately here as it's deemed that it was out of bounds. And one of the unfortunate flagmen was knocked over, but he looks to be okay. Snap was a little bit low, but the delivery came quickly. And getting out of bounds before, as Kaya Saunders got a hold of him. A handoff met immediately. He'll be lucky if he hangs onto the football as he gets flipped down to the ground. And a couple of Raiders in there. Tanny Wisdom again. He's had a great second quarter. And he and Kyle Kearns were in there quickly. And not too much room to go with that football. Now third down, and it looks like about 3. Very important here now with under 90 seconds to go in this first half. Broncos fans urging their players on. Pass to the near side. It's in the dirt. And Colton Meikle doesn't necessarily love the fact that he had to try and come back to that football. And he just couldn't get his body extended back as he talks things over on the way back with Clark Snyder. And maybe that ball had to be thrown very quickly, so it was just a timing play. And more than anything, they just weren't able to get the precise timing down. So that changes the football possession. And as I mentioned, not too many more moments here in this first half. Ball, it's thrown way downfield. Oh, and it was a jump ball. It's incomplete. But a great effort by Paul Romanoff as he really tested the backfield with that throw that that traveled a lot of yards, that throw. And good job by the Raiders to just try and catch them unawares on this first down effort. It was a good look there at Parker McKillop and Mitch Landry, the linebacker for the Broncos. Underway, Sadler Smith, a bullet pass, and Ruben Bonsu, he caught it. Ruben Bonsu around the 48-yard line, and that's going to be enough, I believe, for the first down. So a fresh set of downs for the Raiders on that catch from Ruben Bonsu. Bonsu doing a very good job to just shield that ball with his stomach and torso. Ball to the outside. Caught. McCarty met by several white and orange jerseys, and now just looking to see if there was anything extra on that play, but it looks like they're not going to tag anybody with any extracurricular on that play. Second down and about 5. Sadler Smith looking downfield, throws it. Oh, and it was just in and out of the arms of Paul Romanoff. It looked for a moment like maybe he might get enough of the football. Might have had a touch too by the safety there, but it will bring about third down. Yes, I do believe that the hand of Tayan Lloyd got in there and just touched that football. Tayan Lloyd, a very important play there. I think he got just enough of it. They were both jumping and outstretched. 2 in motion on the near side. Sadler Smith, is he going to run it? And he's going to take it to the outside, and he dives out. I don't think it's going to be, I don't know if it's enough for the first down. Maybe it is. Yes, they're moving the chain. Sadler Smith was able to dive out and get just enough for that first down, and a very impressive scramble by Sadler Smith. And he always looked like he was going to dish right around the 40-yard line, but then he pulled it in, decided to run with it, and he gets away from Mitch Landry and gets enough for the first down. 3 in motion on the right. Hand off to Giancola, the stutter step, but he's opening up some room. Oh, and he just got airborne for a second and is able to move the ball. Looks like about a gain of 5 on the play. Giancola really got flying there, so much his feet in here, he left the field for a moment. Yeah, take a good couple of deep breaths, big man. It was a good run, and obviously an important touchdown here today. Sadler Smith looking over the middle, but he's got arms around him from the back, and he's not getting out of that. And first wrapped up by Leighton Krupe, the defensive lineman, and then he got some help, but Krupe just getting a hold of his waist, and there was nowhere to go for number 12. A couple of personnel changes on the field. Quickly running off the sidelines. I believe that was Cole Malo coming off. And he's joined by Lucas Patterson scrambling to the sidelines and getting replacements out there. Third and 5. Ball is about the 28-yard line of the Kamloops Broncos, and the Raiders get the look out there that they want, and I think that they're going to play it on the safe side here, and lining things up, eyeing things up. There's the set. Kicked. It's looking good so far. Oh, it looked like it just off to the right of the post. And now it's being run out. Oh, and a hard hit right around the 15-yard line. And one of the Raiders is down on the field. I'm not sure if he's going to stay there, but he got run over on that play. Yeah, the ref is asking if he's okay. He's clutching his one shoulder. And that was Brett Chappell. So the final play of the first half, and it's a 17-6 lead for the Raiders. And there's so many turning points to talk about, but I have to say the interception when the Broncos were threatening to make it 13-0, and a very important interception by Kaya Saunders, the defensive back for the Raiders, and that helped avoid extra points on the board for the Broncos, and it's been a great show ever since. The chains have been moving, and a touchdown for Owen Giancola. That was a great catch under pressure. Brock Dufort for the Kamloops Broncos, and he's got their lone touchdown and points here so far. And there's the Broncos and Raiders mascots out on the field. And I see Sparky from the fire department. A good look at Sadler Smith. His work from the pocket. I love the way that he reached up and over and got that ball thrown into the arms of Paul Romanoff for an important catch in the second quarter. And there was that interception thrown by Ryan Peterson. Savian Townsend springing out of the backfield and timing that one perfectly. And then it was the drive that was all about that young man, Ron Lyle, as he just kept steaming forward, getting perfect blocks, and look at that extra action. Raiders sacrificing their bodies on many occasions here. Sadler Smith, all business, handing off to Giancola, and the little cut to his left, and he splits through. He got away from Connor Shaw, and that was good for the touchdown and the lead. So at halftime, the Raiders 17, Kamloops Broncos 6. And tonight's game presented by Viking Properties. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here. We've got more BC Football Conference action coming up here. We've got a full half left to go, but it's 17-6 Raiders at halftime. Don't go too far. We're going to be right back with more Raiders Broncos after this.
I think the team is ingrained in the community here, and it's something that, being part of Vancouver Island Drives and Vancouver Island Raiders, we felt like was a perfect fit. We want to support local teams, local businesses, and we feel like these are the guys to get it done this year. So we're super excited to get involved with the team. So let's go, boys. Let's fire it up. Woo!
Okay, everybody, let's have a great show. Yes, he's gonna throw. Look out, Karen Basad. Got it.
There from full pickup, who will pass it there to Jesse King, who scores again!
At West Shore Motorsports Park.
In the box for Parmar, and she's done it.
I think the team is ingrained in the community here, and it's something that, being part of Vancouver Island Drives and Vancouver Island Raiders, we felt like was a perfect fit. We want to support local teams, local businesses, and we feel like these are the guys to get it done this year. So we're super excited to get involved with the team. So let's go, boys. Let's fire it up. Woo!
Okay, everybody, let's have a great show. Yes, he's gonna throw. Look out, Karen Basad. Got it.
There from full pickup, who will pass it there to Jesse King, who scores again!
At West Shore Motorsports Park.
In the box for Parmar, and she's done it.
Once again, a big thanks. Put your hands together, everybody, for the mascots and the Southside Dogs. Hey man, you're one of the Southside Dogs. You guys, did you win?
Yes.
And what's your name?
Curtis.
Curtis, what do you got to say, buddy?
Dogs win.
Dogs win. That's the spirit. What's your name, buddy?
Eli.
Did you have fun out there?
Yeah.
What do you think the score was? 120 for the Dogs and 4 for the mascots. Oh, that was not it. Did you have fun again? It was excellent. Thanks very much, buddy. I hope you had fun. Okay, what's your name?
Miles.
Miles, and you're a Southside Dog?
Yes.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
What do you think the score was? Hi, how you doing, buddy? Was that fun? Right on. You're gonna go out there and play when you get a little bit bigger?
So one half in the books.
That's the spirit.
VI Raiders entertaining their home fans with a 17-6 lead. Halfway point of the matchup here, and we're about ready to kick off into third quarter action. Raiders set to receive the football on this one. Colton Peterson marking out his steps.
If we could get Heather Harrison to the merch table.
Parker Moscript and company watching on as this ball is punted over the near side of the field. It'll take 1-2 hops in the dirt. Harmon Ahuja there to pick it up. Scoops it and runs, gets a nice little spin off of one of the tackles, and he's breaking through the center field. And now he's brought down right around the 53-yard line, and a big run for Harmon Ahuja. And a great little spin play there to avoid the first point of contact. I think that was Maxim Bosk that just got a piece of him, but that slight little turn inside to his right is what broke Harmon out of the little channel there and got him all the way up past the midfield marker. Good field position for the Raiders. Ron Lyle, he's going to run this one after he took the snap, and he dives down, looks like right around the 45-yard line. Looks like second and about 3 to go for the Raiders. Ron Lyle with that snap, and you saw his feet get clipped up underneath him, but not before he got a nice number of yards downfield. Blaze McCarty in action. Heads to the far side of the field. Ron Lyle's going to take it again, and he steams through, and he bowls his way inside the 40. So again, the chain's getting moved, and number 15, Ron Lyle, just like he did in the second quarter, picks up right where he left off, taking snaps and blazing through little openings and holes. And again, there's that timing play you could see on the inset. Parker Moscript cutting through, and it's all sorts of play action that the Raiders are throwing at the Kamloops Broncos today. 3 in motion on the near side. Ron Lyle with a nice little flip. On the other side, Paul Romanoff towards the outside. Giancola gave him a little block, and he gets downfield, and he knocks down right near maybe about the 9-yard line, maybe even closer than that, all the way to the far side of the field. And boy, Owen Giancola did well not to receive a call there, but just played the edge fine enough on that block. And that was enough to spring Paul Romanoff. What a nice little flip play. Giancola sold that perfectly. And he was targeted right away by Michael Fields, and then that was enough to open the door for Paul Romanoff on that flip. And Giancola providing tons of coverage downfield. Raiders knocking on the door. Lyle going to take it, cut to the middle. He took one big hit. Does he get in over his touchdown? Ron Lyle, Pater, Raiders. Great opening drive in the third quarter for the VI Raiders, and they added to the scoreboard here, and they're surprising a bunch of folks, myself included. Some great action and lots of play action at the line of scrimmage has created all sorts of confusion and discombobulation for the visiting Kamloops Broncos. The point after attempt, and it's good for the extra point. So the Raiders with a 24-6 lead in the third quarter on the back of the Ron Lyle touchdown. You can see some of the fans many with the sunglasses on. That sun is bright and shining over there. Oh, and actually I can pick it out. That's Mike Whitty with the Blue Bombers jersey, taking this one in from the stands. Mike Whitty, a longtime sports volunteer here in Nanaimo. Done a lot of work with the VIJHL Nanaimo Buccaneers club. And he's a huge Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan. Probably the biggest one I know. Actually helped them as an equipment trainer at one point. So 24-6, that's the score line now as the Raiders grab a measure of control here in this third quarter on the back of Ron Lyle, and another impressive string of runs along the ground. Caught downfield by the Broncos on the return. Caleb Sens took one step to the inside, made a nice move, gets to the 40, and the Raiders all business as they get the tackle and get off the field. And I believe that the first one in there was Garrett Miller on the tackle on Sens. Sens with a good run, some good yards after the initial contact. Look at him survey the field, that cut to the inside. Before Garrett Miller wrapped him up. And the quarterback sacked. Second down coming up, and the Raiders are feeling all sorts of enthusiasm now as another nice play by Tanny Wisdom. Ryan Peterson took that snap, and right as soon as he made the handoff, it was apparent they just weren't going to be able to move that ball anywhere. Owen Stockbrugger was stopped in his tracks. Will they find him again? No, the quarterback got dropped as the Raiders squeaked through the coverage, and they got his legs. Oh, but there's a Raider in discomfort. They're going to have to they're calling for the trainer right away, and he was on the bottom of that pile. I think he got twisted the wrong way, and he's already taken his helmet off, and a concerned Felice Toscano talks to him on the field as the trainers get there quickly. Oh, he's in all sorts of discomfort on the field, and you got a feel for him. Tanny Wisdom after some big plays here. Oh, you could see as he was very twisted up in that, and he dropped the wrong way. And I think he twisted up his right leg, rather pretzel-like on that play, but they're going to try and get him up to his feet here. I think it might be a hamstring, just by the way he's really loath to put weight on it and to push off, but he's up off the field, and yes, indeed, it is his right leg, and that was trapped underneath when that secondary hit came in on the ball carrier. Owen Stockbrugger stopped on the previous run, and this time nowhere to go for Ryan Peterson. So the Raiders just continue to amass nice tidy plays here in this third quarter. A good look at the crew on the sidelines. And we're back underway. And the kicker decides to head to the outside where Harmon Ahuja will pick up the ball. Not as much of a significant return, but again, he gets it to the center field area. And that's where the Raiders will have the ball and go to work. Defensive line out onto the field now for the Kamloops Broncos. Jackson Brown out there, number 93, with that kind of prolific, almost Troy Polamalu hair from back in the day. It's always cool to see players having their own little individual trademarks and little bits of notoriety that separate them out on the field. Sadler Smith fakes the pump. Now he'll send it downfield. Ruben Bonsu was right there. He made one move. Is he going to get away? He's gone. Ruben Bonsu with the shake and bake at the 28-yard line, and he's in. Ruben Bonsu, and another touchdown in the third quarter for the Raiders. Sadler Smith sold it. Look at that with that pump action fake. And you could see the arm of Cole Malo up in the air. And just turning to the inside and getting free of Parker McKillop. Ruben Bonsu doing a lot of what he did late last year. Nice little celly there for Ruben Bonsu and company. And why not? They've really come out here to play today, and they're putting points up on the board like they haven't all season here. Smith, after the snap, quick throw, finds Bonsu again, same move. This time he's going to try and get to the other side, but he just hangs on to the football, and he's brought down around the, looks like about the 53-yard line. Sadler Smith with all sorts of confidence now. Looking quite poised in the pocket there. Ruben Bonsu suddenly getting a nice chunk of work here in this third quarter. And he had some very prolific late season moments last year, and he just continues to grow season after season, and he's looking good here this afternoon. Sadler Smith trying to get out of coverage. He almost took a knee. Now he's going to find the hit coming downfield, and he's all wrapped up by Jaron Yamoka. And Yamoka came in. He was able to scramble and push off of one tackle. That was Leighton Krupe, but the secondary piece he wasn't able to avoid, and that'll bring about a change of personnel on the field for the Raiders. He almost got pulled like back towards the line of scrimmage. And looks like they're going to make the safe play, and Riker Sansbury will send this ball downfield. More than likely, they have done some short kicks here today, but I don't think this will be one of those times. And the ball is sent aerial Sends back to meet it. Cuts towards the right. And he's grabbed. Can't make too many more yards after that grab by Andrew Mattis, the linebacker, wrapping him up right around the 39, 40-yard line. Good look at Riker Sansbury and crew as they give way to the defensive line here. Actually, that was some really good work by Jake Smith. He just got a little piece of the bottom of his jersey, and he was able to hang on to that and keep him from going too far. Quick sidearm throw to the outside, some extra yards after the first point of contact for Colton Makel. Makel with a nice little pickup there. Looks like it'll be about 2nd and 5 for the Broncos. Very quick sidearm action there. And Felice Toscano almost had him at the waist, but some good works by his teammates there, Makel's teammates, to get him out of trouble. Looking over the middle. Oh, and it took a tip off of a hand right at the last second. And I think that was Sterling Henry, the defensive back for the Raiders, that got his hand on that football. Riker Sansbury, notable there too. He's got such explosive speed, and he can really come out of the backfield in a hurry. Right over the screen. Oh, and you could see that it was partially grabbed by the intended target. Keegan Curtis with the touch on that one, but in and out of his hands. There's the snap. And again, out from the right side, there's the kick downfield, angled out, and that's going to be out of bounds right around close to the 30 anyways, is where I'm sure they'll mark it. And the Raiders getting lots of time on this side of the football today, and they've done a lot of good things with it, especially here in the third quarter. And there was nothing like starting off the second quarter with an interception on the first play of the quarter. And that seemed to be a real turning point for the Raiders. And actually, as I mentioned, Kaya Saunders with some good work in the backfield. And that big interception with the Broncos threatening to make it 13-0. One in motion on the right, the fake handoff. Actually did go to Giancola, and he presses forward and dives forward. It looks like it's maybe a gain of about 1 on the play. Not much more than that. Giancola and Sadler Smith doing really good jobs of being deceptive today, following through on the motions for their handoffs, the fakes, the pump action, which has been sold several times. Cole Malo, you could see him go skyward when Sadler Smith pump action, that football through the middle, and that's caught on Harmon Ahuja's part. The Broncos trying to say no, but I think he had the football in his arms before he hit the ground, and there's a flag on the play, and also it looks like Michael Fields is having a difficult time getting up, but he does pop up to his feet. But there is a flag in the backfield, and they were going to have a little hydration break, but we'll see. So what they used to call a chop block is called on the Raiders, so 15 yards is the penalty. And I think that's how Michael Fields wound up in discomfort on the field. So that'll be a 15-yarder against the Raiders. You can see him pop up there, but that looks like it definitely does not feel good for Fields. And he's, as I mentioned, he got hurt earlier in the game, but managed to just get up and walk it off right away. But such a strong young man, as the trainer is talking it over, and you can see his teammates appreciate his efforts largely, the Keegan Curtis. And they're And the backup of field position for the Raiders is due largely in part to Fields taking that hit. So the net worth for the Broncos is good as it snapped back, and Riker Sainsbury kicks that one away to just in front of midfield. And breaking down, Sens. He's running. He has room. Can he get inside for the touchdown? No, he just about got there, but a last-ditch effort by the Raiders prohibits him from getting into the end zone. But what a run by Caleb Sens. Very impressive run. That ball was picked up at the 52-yard line of the Raiders, so that gives you an idea of how many yards that young man just traveled with the football.
Hold it. Number 40. 10-yard penalty for the point ball held. Damage, first down.
So a penalty against Parker McKillop of the Broncos, and that will bring back some of that impressive run. And I think that's part of what opened up the field for Caleb Sens to swing way out like that. Reed Lougheed, the offensive lineman, he'll snap this ball. Quick throw downfield. It's a one-on-one. Felice Toscano with the intercept. Toscano with the interception.
And the Raiders.
And again, out of the backfield comes the lurking number one, Felice Toscano. And he cut back in towards the ball at the right moment. And Savion Townsend helps him celebrate. And again, the football belongs to the Raiders. Be first down about the 19-yard line. And enjoying a 24-6 lead here. Just under 6 minutes to go on the run. Giancola progresses the football. It looks like a pickup of about 5, maybe 6 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 4 for the Raiders. Owen Giancola, again, some nice heavy groundwork there by him. And he's got a touchdown today to show for his labor.
And we can find out more information about the Vancouver Raiders at VIRaiders.ca.
And the announcer just mentioning, actually we got a penalty here. So a 15-yard penalty levied against the Broncos for face mask. And again, the football gets moved downfield, and the Raiders, things go from good to a little bit better here, right around the 40-yard line. Going to run it out to the far side. Ron Lyle found a little bit of room, put his head down, and he's trying to make his way to the 45, but they're going to push him back maybe a yard or two, but the near side official looks like he's going to mark it. Looks like it'll be a pickup of at least 4, maybe 5 on the play. Maybe a little closer to 4, but regardless, the Raiders just keep moving the ball. And the chains will be 2nd down now and about 6. There's the snap. Sadler Smith fakes again. There's a flag on the play. He's got time, and he wheels it out to the near side. Blaise McCarty with the catch, gets a block from Romanoff, and he gets pushed out around the 28, and his helmet comes off. But not before another big pickup and another flag thrown by the near side official as McCarty retrieves his helmet. And another great job. You can see the maturity by Sadler Smith, especially over the last couple of games where he's just punishing the other team with these fake pump action and giving them extra time to scramble and then find that downfield receiver. And this time it was Blaise McCarty, and he really turned on the Jets. Aiden Quang is no easy person to run up against and to try and compete for the ball with, but for as big of an effect as he's had on the game, the Broncos just can't reel in the Raiders right now. So the result is an automatic first down for the Raiders, but they did have 2 holding penalties, but it was negated by a face mask on the part of the Broncos.
Raiders 24, the Kamloops Broncos 6.
And I think it was James Hubbard that was assessed the face mask, but I can't be 100% certain. Ruben Bonsu out to the outside. First down, Raiders at their own 48. Sadler Smith has some room over the screen. What a good catch. Paul Romanoff jumps up and brings that one in. Big catch for Romanoff, and he's had a great day out on the field.
Stretching it out, grabbing one there. It's a first down for the Raiders.
Owen Giancola giving him a well-earned slap on the shoulder and a quick acknowledgement from Sadler Smith, and they're wanting to get right back to work. Smith out of the pocket, got away from trouble, and gets it up over the screen, and a great haul in by Paul Romanoff. And now they're working from the 45-yard line. First down again for the Raiders. 2 in motion on the near side. Smith, lots of time to scramble. Rolls out to his left, throws it, and it's incomplete near the sidelines. He was eyeing Blaise McCarty, but he didn't want to give the ball away. And the Raiders will settle for a second down. 3:35 to go in this third quarter. And once again, everyone, thank you for joining us here on BCFCTV.com or TELUS Optic 1981, however you're taking the game in. Or maybe you're catching this game like I usually do a day or two later on YouTube. See where I can get better for you folks. Try and improve every time, just like the Raiders have been doing this season. And here they are enjoying a nice 18-point lead on the visiting Broncos. And they've still got the football. Sadler Smith, the handoff to Giancola. Good hard hit at the line. They try and help push him forward, but the ball stalls, and it'll be... Actually, it looks like they just made the line of scrimmage, to be honest, so looks like it'll be 2nd and 10. Actually, no, pardon me, the third down, and they're actually marking it. So actually maybe a pickup of about 2, but it will be third down, so that's going to necessitate a change of personnel on the field. And the Raiders will turn this ball over on the kick. Great defensive story for the VI Raiders today. The game was looking like it might get a little out of hand early. And there's the kick by Andrew Mattis, the linebacker. Takes one hop in the backfield, and once again, that's Caleb Sens. Opts to go to his left again. He swings out in front of his own bench, and he'll run out of bounds. And that'll bring about the offensive line for the Broncos. Was just noticing Brock Dufort, who had that early first quarter touchdown. He's got those nice matching cleats, as does his teammate Cameron Grezgor's kit. And sorry if I butchered that one, a very difficult name to pronounce, but number 26 looking smart out on the football field. Maybe it's fully Grisor thick. I could spell it out for you, but that would take a moment. But anyways, he's a good football player, and they're working the football around. Clark Snyder in the QB position now. On the backside, you could see Caleb Charlton helping corral the offense of the Broncos, looking to his right. Good. Was that a catch? If it was a very good catch with all sorts of coverage all over him. Denzel Igahan was going to make that almost a nearly impossible catch to make, but Colton Peterson reels it in, and that's a good catch by Peterson under full duress. Denzel Igahan, no slouch, and he's contested the ball in the air a number of times and won this season. You can see how close that was, but again, good catch. There's the handoff. Tried to go through the middle seam, and a good drop there. The defense, Garrett McAuliffe, the linebacker, number 51 for the Raiders, he was happy with that play as he came up fist pumping. He knew he got a good tackle in there and limiting the carry to just under 4 yards.
We're going to make the draw in the fourth. Last call now, if you didn't get one, just run up to the merge tent and grab some.
8 seconds on the play clock. They get it underway. Snyder, pump action. Down through the middle. Oh, and what a solid hit as he threw his shoulder down. And he met Marcus Harvey right square on. But, or surprised maybe that was Sterling Henry that got his shoulder down. But that's the benefit of being a bigger quarterback. And you can see Snyder shaking it out a little bit. He lowered his shoulder and helmet, and that was, you could hear the clash up here.
Objection conduct on the defense, number 52. 10-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
So a penalty assessed to the Raiders. Caleb Charlton, a 10-yard penalty, which will bring this ball near the 50-yard, about the 51-yard line of the Raiders. And that's where Snyder and company will take possession of the football. They're down by 18, and this is most likely the final play of the quarter. Snyder looking downfield, lets it go way out, and it's just too far out of reach. And that was intended for Colton Makel, but Makel just unable to get downfield far enough. They knew they had to air it out. He had two-man coverage on him, and he just couldn't outdistance Felice Toscano and Nathan Halyuk. Well-thrown football. It was just a little too far, and I don't think in any universe is a receiver going to be able to catch up with that one. It just seemed like it caught a little bit of air and was maybe about 4 or 5 yards outside of the reach. Throw over the screen, and that's not going to hit anyone except for the turf, and that one's incomplete. So a second straight incompletion from Snyder, and that's most likely going to bring out the punt unit. Not quite in field goal range. And that will, as I mentioned, will be the end of the third quarter. So we head into final quarter territory here. Still a 24-6 lead. The Raiders with a very impressive start to their second and third quarters. And that interception again in the second quarter was so huge from the backside. Kaya Saunders really helping tilt the fortunes for the VI Raiders this afternoon. Harmon Ahuja backing up. He'll most likely be the one to pick this ball up on the return as they switch sides on the field for the kick to begin the fourth quarter. There's the kick, and it's a short one. Did it bounce off of someone? They're just letting it fall down to Ahuja, who just wants basically a fair catch as he collects it.
We're in the fourth quarter. Just under 15 minutes to play.
And the Raiders are feeling pretty pumped right now. Even as they're leaving the field, there's a skip and a jump in their step. And the boys can sense it. This was their opportunity to come in today and give this home crowd a little taste of the promise that's to come. As I mentioned at the outside of the broadcast, 31 rookies on the roster. That's a lot of green material to work with, but Sean Arabsky and Mr. Andrew Harris really finding the right tools to do the job with, and they're grooming these young men to become a complete football team. And you got to really like the offensive changes and improvements. Ron Lyle with the handoff. I think that was Romanoff that picked it up. Can't be 100% certain, but just behind line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1.5 on the play.
We'll spend some quality time with the sheep, the VIX, until 11 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow morning from 9 until 6 at Bevan Park in beautiful Minnesota.
Smith in the shotgun, has pressure from the outside, ducks that one. Now he's got two. I don't think he's going to get away from them all, and he's just going to hang on to the football and drop down. Another few yard loss here for the Raiders. And once again, it's that trio of Cole Malo and Leighton Krupe really getting in there quickly and very efficiently. And as I mentioned earlier, Michael Fields, he's been all over the defensive plays here this afternoon. But it's also been a very robust defensive effort by the Raiders here this afternoon, only allowing 6 points so far in this contest. And one could argue easily their most productive offensive output of the season so far. There's the snap, and that one's punted away. Riker Sansbury getting away the right boot. There's a flag on the play as Caleb Sens picks it up and grabs a few yards, but not anything significant. I think this might go against the Raiders, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe not enough yards on the play. A good look at Malik Ambrose, number 43 for the VI Raiders, and also Caleb Sens. Responsible.
First down.
So indeed, a 5-yard penalty, not enough yards. And the Broncos getting a chance to see if they can test the end zone here again. It's been a while since they've been in that territory. Snyder looks, throws over the middle, and it just took a touch at the last second. Otherwise, Colton Makel would have had that ball and in scoring position. I'd really like to try and pick out on the replay if the Raiders were in fact able to get any kind of a touch on that ball. Yes, indeed, that was touched. I figured there was a redirect, and that was Savian Townsend. As I mentioned, yeah, you can see he's getting a little talking to there from the secondary. Snyder in trouble, throws to the outside. Was it complete? I think he might have hauled it in. Yes, it is a catch, and a good one out on the far sidelines. And again, Caleb Sens doing his job perfectly, making that catch right in front of his mates. And that's always a good feeling, being able to pop up with the football and they're all giving you a fist pump as you get up. Snyder able to scramble out to his right, and that gave him the time to get rid of that football. Great catch along the turf there by number 1. And he was being pressured. Marcus Harvey right on top of him too. Clark Snyder, one in behind him, just going to give a block over the middle, and that ball took a redirect. And you can tell from the excited body language from Tanny Wisdom that was a good defensive play, and that's going to change up the personnel one more time here. Time starting to become a factor for the Kamloops Broncos. They've been able to make it down into the Raider side of the football field, but since the first quarter, yeah, you could see that hand right over the screen. And as I mentioned, the body language from Tanny Wisdom says it was him that got that hand up and knocked that football away. I guess there is an argument for Parker McKillop to make some sort of a play here, but he watches from the backfield as they charge forward. The Raiders are going to keep it along the ground for now, and that tackle belongs to Mitch Landry. Landry getting the tackle there as the Raiders pound it up the middle, and there is a flag on the near side of the field. And looked like one of the Broncos, that was Aiden Quang, took a little bit of a knock on that play. Good, quick handoff. And the Raiders just doing all sorts of things to stretch out. Okay, so a 10-yard penalty against the offense, so that's going to move things back a little bit here for the Raiders, and so now they're going to have to carve out some field position. But they've been good at keeping it along the ground, and a lot of play action that's been disguising some of these outs to Ruben Bonsu and Harmon Ahuja, Paul Romanoff, all factoring in with catches here today. Ron Lyle tucked in behind the quarterback, 2 in motion on the near side, 1 on the left. Fake handoff, he's got pressure, gets it over the screen. That's caught by Lyle. Got tripped up, but he makes it a good portion of the way towards the first down. But that was second down for the Raiders, so I don't know what they're going to do here. There's not too far to go. We'll get a measurement, but it looks like it's the better part of 3 yards that the Raiders need, so looks like they might make a go of it here. Third down. Great run there by Ron Lyle to put them in position to give this one a go on 3rd and 3. Sadler Smith has motion in front of him to Giancola, who dives forward. Did he make it? It's close. And I think by the position of the ref's foot, that's a first down. Yes, just by a few inches, but Giancola dives far enough to get the firstie. Important drive along the ground, especially for Giancola to dive forward and get that extra yard there. And there's, again, another good carry by Ron Lyle as he moved that ball very deftly through the middle, picking his spots, and he's so nimble. Hard for the defensive line to get a piece of him. Smith through the middle, but he got found and brought down right near the line of scrimmage. Cole Malo, who's been a big part of the game today, and he gets another sack, big number 72 for the Broncos. Fans trying to urge on the defense from the Broncos. 2nd and 8. To the outside. That's caught. And hit low and hard right near the center line mark. And that's enough for a first down. And the Raiders mean business. They keep marching this football downfield. Parker Mosgrip factoring in here again, and he's had a whale of a day.
Bring 10 more cameramen on.
Mosgrip showing all sorts of maturity here today and leading by example. 2 in motion on the near side. Sadler Smith over the middle finds Romanoff, and that's another completion and another first down for the Raiders. Boy, they're moving the football with aplomb today. And I would really like to be able to make out. I can see there is a really cool bright yellow Broncos sign across the way. Fan with a bright orange hat, fanning that out, and you could hear their chants for defense, as the fans trying to urge on their Broncos, try and tighten up this little bit of a gap here between them and the Raiders. They've got 7.5 minutes to work with. Sadler Smith, nice evasion in the pocket, sidearm throw, but he's not going to find anyone, but at least it's not going to be intercepted, and it'll be a second down as they've been moving the chains nicely here. Paul Romanoff with that nice catch on the move, and Sadler Smith, as I mentioned, he's just so prolific today with the football. He's got this extra step. He's got this confidence where he's selling a lot of the fake action plays. He's able to scramble well in the pocket. Whereas last year they tried to opt to have the quarterback run the football more. They're going to leave that to Giancola and company. 3 in motion on the near side. Smith getting away from the traffic. There's a flag off of the backside. He's just going to run it, and he turns inward and gets another extra couple of yards as he moves the ball closer to the 25. The first down, Sadler Smith, just as I mentioned, the lack of scrambling as compared to last year.
It's coming back.
So that whole play coming back, it's going to be second down, redone. And that's going to eliminate that nice scramble by the quarterback, Sadler Smith, as he makes a little cut there on Thomas Delgado. And Carson Kowalchuk, defensive backs, and still 24-6 is the lead for the Raiders. Not a lot changing here in the fourth quarter, save for that touchdown. And Ron Lyle having a very efficient game here for the Raiders, and he's parked in behind Sadler Smith again. A hooge over to his right. And I think we've got a stoppage here.
Contact, offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
So a time count violation for the Raiders, and that's a 5-yard penalty. So that's going to tack on a little bit here to the task at hand as they reset the time clock.
After this play, we'll announce the 50-50.
Second down for the Raiders. Quick side out. Finds Romanoff. Romanoff faked the cut to the inside, and he's going to break to the out. And he gets up in the air and over to about the 39-yard line, and a good jump as he came into contact from Parker McKillop and Thomas Delgado. Good job by Paul Romanoff. What a second half he's having. And I told you there'll be periods where Romanoff is pretty silent, fairly quiet, and then all of a sudden just he'll shock you when you least expect it. And there's another big pickup by number 3. And he likes what he's doing out there, and so do we. Been a fun football game to cover, and thank you for coming alongside of us. VI Raiders 1-6 on the season. Same for the Broncos. Something had to give. Someone had to win. Sadler Smith gets away from one tackle. Looked like he almost had the football come out at the end of his run there, but retains possession. Sadler Smith doing really good work in the pocket today, and his scrambling ability has been just superb, and getting away from Leighton Krupe just long enough to pick up just a little bit extra.
Okay, here we go. We got 50-50 ticket. Get yours ready. It's a pink ticket. No, I'm just kidding. We only have blue ones.
Sadler Smith was talking to the officials about the ball placement there. And I think that the argument was that they were pretty close to that first down, but they are going to turn over the ball on downs.
congratulations. Come on up to the merch tent and pick up your cash.
Just under 5 to go here in this fourth quarter. Long throw downfield, and it's intercepted by Kaya Saunders. As a flag in the backfield. Kaya Saunders with his second interception of the game. But it looks like it might be negated by a penalty in the backfield as the excitement soon got contained. We got to wait for the official announcement, but Kaya Saunders for a moment had his second interception of the game.
I don't see any flags on the field, but
well thrown football, but just short of the intended target. That was Owen Stockbrugger. So instead of an interception, he's charged with a 15-yard penalty, and that's a difficult pill for Saunders and company to swallow. But the good news is there's doesn't feel like it's going to necessarily open the door enough for the Broncos to come in and reclaim this contest. 4 in motion at the line, 2 swinging into the middle, and that ball is caught by Brock DeFort. He has 1 touchdown already, but he's not going to get too far after that catch as he's met by a Black Brigade bringing him to the turf.
50-50 winner of $438.
Brock DeFort, though, nice catch, and he's made a couple of those today.
Holy smokes. And she just happens to be at the merch tent to pick up her cash.
He got that ball away pretty quickly, but immediately on the spot, Caleb Charlton again, and he's assisted there by Sterling Henry, and the duo has been strong today. Snap is through to Snyder over the middle. Big catch there and some extra yards. Look at that guy just go powering through, and they finally bring the big man down. Corey Jeeves, even the public announcer said, holy smokes, he's a tough man to bring down, Corey Jeeves. And once he catches that football, he's a very powerful force to try and stop. Nice screen play. And a good cut to the middle before he's met by Savian Townsend. And even then, with a couple of assists there on the backside, Chandler Owens. And there is a flag on this play, and I think it might be going against the Raiders if I can read body language.
Roughing the passer, and 96 for the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So roughing the passer, and that's a 15-yard penalty. So the Broncos getting back into some of the best field position that they've had in this second half. This is about where they were stymied before as they tried to cut into this 18-point lead by the Raiders. Clark Snyder, he has DeFort in motion on the far side, but he elects to go over the middle to Colton Makel. And Makel just over the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard, 2 yards. So it'll be second down and about 8 for the Broncos.
On the 23.
Really like the way that the defense, Caleb Charlton, got in there and got his shoulder into the shin of the ball carrier. Makel just impeding his progress enough that he was going to get wrapped up by someone else, but that first point of contact was so important. And as you can tell from the scoreboard, there's been a lot of good defensive plays today by the Raiders, and they've held this Broncos offense to 6 points here in front of their home crowd. Three in motion on the near side, but he's going to go to the far side of the field. Up in the air it goes, and that was intercepted. Savian Townsend jumps up and intercepts that football. Savian Townsend climbs the ladder and retrieves the football. And that's the kind of defensive day it's been for the Raiders. They're loving life on the sidelines. And someone, are they holding up a box of Fruit Loops? Is that what I'm seeing? Oh, that's precious. I love that. It looked like Matthew DiMatteo was holding up a box of maybe Frosted Lucky Charms or something, or Fruit Loops. Right on the goal line. What an interception. Oh, my.
Once again, a big thanks to all the Nanaimo firefighters, all the Nanaimo mascots that showed up here today, and of course, our good friends at the Southside Dogs.
So a 10-yard. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, so they move it out to the 20-yard line here where the Raiders go to work. On the handoff to Alex Andrew. Made his way down the far side. And there is a flag on the field again.
There's flags flying right at about the line of scrimmage. We'll see what the officials say.
Holding on the offense, number 9. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The Raiders assess the penalty. And so that will bring the football back and make the task a little bit larger here for Sadler Smith and company. Dozen seconds on the play clock now. Smith getting settled in. And he has Alex Andrew in motion on his right, looking for room, and he throws the screen to him, but he just can't reach it. And it was difficult for Smith to see where he had gone. There were suddenly 2 orange jerseys in front of him. And one of them, of course, was Parker McKillop, who's been very involved in the defense here today for the Broncos. Sadler Smith just rolling out nicely to his right, but that throw just a little bit too much, but he wants to make sure it's not going to get intercepted on the same hand. And they'll take the safe route as the VI Raiders look to hone in on their second victory of the season. And in front of their home crowd makes it just a little bit sweeter as it stands right now. They have possession of the football. There's the fake handoff, and now they get the ball. Looks like a pickup of about 6, maybe 7 yards on the play. At least get a little better field position for their punt team here as they get set to send the football back downfield and out of danger. Sadler Smith rushing that one on that play. And he's really shown just some great legs here today. Sadler Smith making some of the best decisions that I've seen him make so far this season. And the Raiders in control here as we near the 2-minute warning. And a punt from Riker Sansbury. And that one's downfield nicely to the 50-yard line. Picked up by Caleb Sens out to the right side. Look at him jump. Oh, he got airborne as he jumped way, way up to get over that tackle. He got most of the way out from underneath it. That'll be probably an instant replay somewhere. Caleb Sens going completely airborne near the sidelines as he tried to escape. And you can see a little bit extra shoving and pushing there off on the sidelines. And now a good shot of Denzel Igahan, who one-on-one, he's a pretty tough customer to beat. 2 in motion on the right side, but to the inside goes Snyder. And to one of his favorite targets, Corey Jeeves. Jeeves has been catching all the footballs today, and he's good for at least a few yards after each one. And it looks like he's picked up maybe a little closer to 5 on the play. Maybe 4 yards for sure, so 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Ball at the 27. Snyder loads into the end zone, goes Sens, and he caught it. Caleb Sens narrows the margin with just under 90 seconds to go in the football game, and a good throw by Clark Snyder. Took his time, made sure, and as he's done all game, Caleb Sens ripping downfield and finding holes. So if the Broncos can add the point after here, they'll cut the lead to 24-13, 11-point difference, but time just too much of a factor, I believe, at this point. They're going to go for the 2-yard conversion into the end zone, and that's caught. They will pick up the 2-point conversion. So 24-14, so it is a 10-point game. But they do have to kick the football away, and I'm sure that the VI Raiders are fully prepared and ready for a potential onside kick. That's about probably the main tool left in the toolkit for the Broncos at this point, as they get that 2-point conversion thrown into the arms of Colin Peterson by Clark Snyder. So Snyder makes the score definitely more respectable here towards the end of the fourth quarter. It's no secret that the last couple of minutes of a football game can really have the clock ticking down to a science, but at the end of it all, it's still time, and there's only so much of it. And you have to think that the Kamloops Broncos at this point might just be a little too far out of reach for them, this 10-point spread. They'd need a converted touchdown and a field goal. That ball kicked into the turf and just grabbed by the Raiders. They'll just hang on. And that's where they want the football, is on their side of the field and with the clock running. So 24-14 on the heels of the touchdown by Caleb Sens, who's had a strong afternoon. Him and Brock Dufort grabbing touchdowns for the Kamloops Broncos. For their part, the Raiders, Owen Giancola, Ruben Bonsu, they've all added some points here. And a big afternoon by Ron Lyle as well, orchestrating a couple of very successful drives and runs along the ground that got them into the end zone and in the lead. 1:07 to go. Sadler Smith, he'll hand off. And that was to Alexander. Not much room for him to operate. As things get a little testy out on the field now, time becoming more and more of a factor here for the Broncos. It was that immediate contact by Michael Fields on Andrews for that run that really impeded his progress. The left arm of Fields slowing him up enough. Smith on the pitch backwards. Rolling out again is Andrews, but he just can't outrun Aiden Quang. And Quang, who had such a strong, powerful first quarter, gets another tackle here on that out to Andrews, and that's going to continue to tick seconds off of the clock. So the Broncos calling timeout. Just under a minute to go in this one. Good look at Riley Bickford, number 54, the defensive line for the VI Raiders. On the other side there, Maxim Bosk, number 44. Sean Arabsky mid-set there. Quite often with the hat on backwards, as is his style, and he's got to be enjoying this afternoon's game and the production from his offensive line particularly. And as I mentioned several times, always helps when your quarterback is buying time for his receivers to get downfield. Or a little screen play from a tight end or whatever you want to do with that time. And they're just waiting for one of the Raiders to get out to the field. Jack McLeod running out. They're being introduced onto the field here. And they'll reset the time clock, I'm sure. Andrew Mattis set to kick this ball to the Broncos. And looking downfield, quite likely that Colton Makel or Sens will receive this ball. And they do angle it out towards Sens. I don't think he's actually even going to get a touch as it bounces out of bounds. Right around the 45-yard line, and that's where this final drive should take place for the Broncos. And a good look. Caleb Sens, who's had a very impressive afternoon. He's probably been the strongest performer of the group. I'd have to look at all of the stats a little closer, but at this point, I can safely say that he's been a big part of the reason why the Broncos are even within that range, 10 points, with under a minute to go. Clark Snyder and company looking to his left. Thrown incomplete as the hit came in immediately from Caleb Charlton, and I talked about his efforts today, and number 52 is bombing him. I hope someone caught the B-52 reference there, but nonetheless, an incomplete pass for the Broncos. 2nd down and 10 from their 48-yard line. Snyder throws complete on the near side to Corey Jeeves, and he'll stumble out of bounds at the 50. And Jeeves is actually limping a bit as he comes away from the sidelines. I think as he stumbled there, it was...
15-yard penalty at the end of the play, automatic first down.
Well, the Broncos just had their field position improved here by 15 yards as the defense assessed another 15-yard penalty. So I can see Savian Townsend asking, like, what happened. He's talking to his mates, probably more of a rhetorical question. First down from about the 34 of the Raiders. Snyder in the pocket, hard throw over the middle, and it was nearly picked off. Savian Townsend had to pick that one up off of the turf, but irregardless, it's incomplete, and that'll bring about a 2nd down. So the VI Raiders will improve to 2-6 on this season with a couple of games remaining, one more here at home. And looking very much forward to that one here in the month of October. And the Broncos will fall to 1-7 on this 2024 season. Nice throw through the middle, and he found Corey. Was that Corey Jeeves? Yes, it was. Actually, pardon me, Carlin Peterson for a moment. And another 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer. And this time Caleb Charlton gets the penalty. So a little bit of late game adversity here for the VI Raiders. They'll have to make a goal line stand here with 31 seconds on the clock. It looks like that's how much they've at least is listed up on the scoreboard right now.
Once again, a big thanks to all our volunteers. Put your hands together for our speedy little water boys from football.
And they'll get another hydration break in here before this what will be an impactful last couple of downs for sure. But what should be the only real difference is how the scoreline finishes here. I don't think the end is ever in question at this point as far as the clock is concerned. But you never know. Football's a crazy game. Lots can happen, as I mentioned, in those final couple of minutes. And we'll just let the game do the rest. But for their part, the VI Raiders having a very successful defensive outing here at home. And Sean Arabsky should be very pleased with the effort from his crew, and particularly their defensive line really stymieing the offense. Clark Snyder set to take this football. First and goal from the pocket, takes it out to his right, and we've got a late whistle, and Kaya Saunders does grab the football, but something, and maybe it was kind of like a false start of sorts. So a 5-yard penalty for offside on the Kamloops Broncos. So no longer first and goal. .28 on the ticker. Again, trying that far outside. This is going to be knocked down, if not intercepted, but it is incomplete. Kaya Saunders makes sure of that. Second down coming up. And now 23 up on the clock, so they only had 5 seconds peel off on that play as the Broncos really trying to stretch out this clock here. I think he was hoping to have Colton Makel come back towards the football a bit, although he did have Caleb Sens in that general vicinity. Snyder throws it far and inside the end zone, but just a little too far, and Felice Toscano flexes a little bit in the end zone as he made sure that ball got delivered wide and far. And now just down to 18 seconds remaining here. Can the Broncos punch it in here in the final attempt here of this fourth quarter by their offense? From the 14, here go the Broncos. One play to try and push it in. Two in motion on his right. He's under pressure and he's sacked.
And they'll take him down with 13 seconds left on the clock.
He got tracked down and there was no place to go. Declan Robbins getting in there and helping cement this one. All sorts of pressure for Clark Snyder.
And the Raiders offense will take the field with 13 seconds left.
Part of the reason that play happened was a nice push from the inside. Riley Bickford pushing his man towards the inside, making an escape route almost impossible for Snyder.
A lot of fun here today at the inaugural Burn Fun Classic. We're going to do it again next year and every year. Of course, it's in support of the BC Burn Fund.
And there's a good look at one of the Southside Dogs.
Thanks to our friends from the Southside Dogs. And all the
They've got the air horns, and it's been a good day. They get to flex them. They've been able to use them.
All the football Nanaimo volunteers that help us every weekend here.
And the Raiders line up, but mostly just to help protect the football here. Sadler Smith to make it official. He takes a knee, and that'll end it. Time runs out, and the VI Raiders complete the win, 24-14. Big defensive outing by the Raiders. And look at that celebration out near midfield. The jump and bump from Luca Bordages, Chandler Owens and company. Another good look at Jack McLeod out there as well, and your quarterback, Sadler Smith. And there's some friendships still being cultivated near the sidelines as the Raiders 24-14 winners here at Nanaimo District Secondary School, much to the delight of the fans on hand. And a great showing here as the Raiders have had their share of adversity this season, particularly on the road. But nothing like getting a showing like this today to give the fans hope and comfort that this team is far from done.
Thanks very much, of course, to all our friends with Level 5.
And they will head off the field victorious.
We'll see you on October the 5th when we take on the Valley Huskers.
So you heard it, October 5, the Valley Huskers will be in town. And that will be the final home game of the regular season for the VI Raiders, taking on the Huskers on the 5th, so a couple of weeks' time. Some more look at the work done here today. Paul Romanoff, very important in today's victory. Big interception by Savian Townsend. And that was about the end of the day for Ryan Peterson in the quarterback position. Ron Lyle, part of that Maestro's second quarter that got orchestrated. And the team coming together with Chance and Rance, the far end of the field. It's a good day to be a Raider. Big 24-14 win as they throw the ball over. It's a cool little ceremony going on over there. And look at that man, Owen Giancola. There was no stopping him today as he punches that one in with authority. And that was a real turning point for the Raiders as well. Ron Lyle, look at that nice little stutter step. And he took a huge hit at the line from Parker McKillop, but he still kept going and he punches it in. And that was the kind of day for the Raiders as they complete their celebration down at the end zone. And they are a jacked up bunch, and deservedly so. Felice Toscano so pivotal in the third and fourth quarter. And look at that wave downfield by Blaze McCarty saying, "Hey, Sadler, I'm down here." And he got it to him. And his helmet might have come off, but everybody got a good look at the young man that put some yards together. Beautiful catch on the run, though, by Caleb Sens as the Kamloops Broncos made it interesting late, but the comeback was just a little bit too short, and it finishes up 24-14. The VI Raiders victorious. They improve to 2-6 on the season. The Broncos 1-7 now. October 5, circle it. We'll be back here for the Valley Huskers and more Vancouver Island Raiders football. Have a great night, everyone, and enjoy your weekend. This game brought to you by Viking Properties. Have a great one, everyone.